Alright, hello and welcome back. So now that we went completely crazy deleting half of everything we ever made, let's actually, start adding something. So, our new way of doing things down here is that we have made an entire script for everything that's going to contain the data, and then we have the data values. So let's actually make the data values this time. So the point of the data values in here is simply just to, contain the values. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's actually move this one to the top, just because this is pretty much one of the most important ones. So let's just keep it there. Alright, so I'm just gonna copy paste one of them over, because I see no point in not doing that. This is actually a raw value, so actually let's have that in the top. So, what exactly is this? This is just a class that contains a value, and the value is a string. So this way, we now have a reference string, meaning I can now copy paste the other ones over, and we now have the values. So I'm just gonna completely copy this over here, and let's just copy this up in the tip and go values. Yeah. Alright, so what exactly did we do here? Well, we made literally a container that contains a string, an int, a float, and a sprite. And holy, it is lightning outside right now. Well, don't think about that. Yes. So this way we now can make a reference. We have now made an int and a float a reference type. That's pretty much the idea behind this. Let's just move those in the top, because I think they are the more important ones. Alright, so there are no values, beautiful. Then we need the different enum types. But we actually haven't made all the enum types. So let's just go out quickly and make them. So let's have a look, because we need a enum type that is the choice type. Then again, we're making enums that we are not going to use for now. I just know that we're gonna need them. So yeah, bear with me because it's gonna be a while before we actually are gonna use this enum. So I hope you can bear with me for now. So this one is just the one we use to hide or grayed out whenever the choice is. So if there is a condition in the choice, we'll then hide it or gray it out. But then again, don't think about this enum right now, because we are going to return to it. It's just that we are setting up the value system, and for that we need every value we're going to use. Now let's return back, and we see we have the int node. I think I added some numbers on them now. Yes. So I started adding numbers on them. That way we could know that way they already have a set int, meaning that I already know what number they have. We're actually not going to use a go back function, because that is a pain to actually make work. So I decided, be gone with that one. I'm sorry. Alright, so next one is the language controller. So the language type. Do we have that one? We actually do. Beautiful. Alright. Again, I'm just gonna copy it over so we have numbers on them already. So what is the beautiful part of having numbers? Well, beforehand, let's just give you an example. So beforehand, they would add the numbers themselves right here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you remove this one, Danish will automatically become number 2. Number 2 in this scenario. However, if we remove it down here, days will still be number 3. So that way we can make sure that even if you delete a language from the list, because they are just going to continue using that number, it's not going to be a problem. So, hooray! Beautiful. Alright, so it looks like we don't have the 2 other ones. So let's just add those. Didn't I delete that one? Well, just gonna delete it again then, I guess. Big on. Alright, so, and let's, let's just add the other button, other one. So those here right now are the enums we're going to use for string events. The one is a condition and the other one is a modifier. So let's just go into them and clean them up and make them into enums. Let me just quickly look how they look over here. Just gonna copy paste that. And here for some reason I did not give them values. So let's just quickly do that. Just because it's good to give them values. Now you don't need to. In this specific case, you probably don't need to give them values, as the chance of those actually changing here is really, really, really small. But for safety reasons, let's just give them values. And let's have a look at the last one here. And again, this is what type of modifier it is. It's set through or add or subtract. So we're just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Save it. And it seems I have forgotten something. So let's just quickly go into here and get the name spacing. Guess we forgot that one. There we go. Add the other namespacing. There we go. Oh. I forgot. If you save, it takes forever. Is that okay? Is that okay? And yeah, I needed this one as well. Here we go. And let's save all. Beautiful. Good. So now we have all the enums. So let's go back into enum values. Because now I think it is where it starts getting a little interest. Let me just quickly note. Here we go. I'm just gonna copy paste the first one over in here. As you can see, someone told me, I can't remember your name now, but he told me that you can use the Unity editor, meaning this one will only be run in the editor. It is absolutely brilliant. That means we can go up in the top as well and add this part in here. I actually don't think you need this specific part here, but for safety reasons, let's just have it. That means now that we can use an editor thing. Right now, this one here, the field, is only used when we actually use the value, the container things. The only thing we actually need is this specific part. However, we are adding it in here to have a reference part, to have a reference to it, so when we are using it in the editor, it just makes it so much easier to control the different values. So now I'm just gonna copy paste the rest in, and I will of course slowly roll over it so you can see it. Alright, so first here we have the container choice status type. And next up we have, and again, it literally just contains an enum field in every one of them, and the type of node it is. So this is the int node. This is the string modifier type, and the last is a container string event container type. So you just need all those, so we have beautiful reference to them. That's pretty much it. So let's roll in the top. So we also have those two here, beautiful. And that should be it for our events. Not events. That should be it for our values. All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's just quickly look at the container. Do we need that right now? Probably not. Let's look at the base node. What does the base node need? Well, everything it needs is this. And let's just add the serializable in the tab. Save that. So this is everything our base node need. Of course, every node then needs to inherit from that. So let's just make the stat node. I think the stat node actually don't really need anything else than that. Of course, it needs to be serializable. Let's look at the int node. So int node. Right. So what does int node need? Well, everything it needs. Let me just copy everything. It's probably easier. Here we go. So we need to make it serializable. It needs to inherit from base node, and then it needs to have the container of int node type in it, and it also needs to be a new one, so it's not null. All right, beautiful, beautiful. So let's look at the event. That needs. Oh, we haven't made the event thingy yet. So let's just have a look at those. You know what? Let's actually put them in undervalue. My other scripts, they are not undervalue, but let's just do that. So under here. Now we're probably getting to the point where we should make more scripts for this, but this is fine. So just gonna call it events and copy paste those over. Let's actually see, do they work? They instantly work. Beautiful. All right. So what is this? Well, we need a data container for the event node string modifier. So this is what contains a string modifier event. So first up, it needs a string event text. So what is the name of the event? Does the number it contains actually change anything? And of course, it needs the enum node type of what it actually is. So we can just go. Oh, that was not what I wanted. We can go to the definition, and you can see this is just. So in theory, we just have a string, a float, and an enum. But this way, they're all reference types, meaning we can do a reference to them in other scripts as well. And down here, we have the exact same thing, except it is a string condition and not a string modifier. So the difference between those here are how we are going to use them. This up here, by being a modifier, we're telling the system, or we're going to tell the system that modifier, when it has the modifier, that means it needs to change something. And the condition is just that it needs to check. In the beginning, I had the same one, and I just had one more enum down here under, but it became really confusing in the code when I was supposed to use one or the other. So simply by changing this here, it made it so much easier for me. And I hope later on I can show that it has become a little easier. But now we also have our string modifier, our event string data stuff saved here as well. So let's just save that. So let's have a look. How long is this video now? Yeah, we can continue a little while. Alright, so now that we have that under control, the values, let's we should be able to make the event data now. So the event data, because the event data is actually pretty simple. All the event data contains oh, why are those not happy? Let me just go to the definition. It's because I named it something else. Let's just quickly look. Values should be up here. Event string events. What the hell is that name? We are just going to rename this. Bloop. Here we go. That is a beautiful renaming. Did I actually? Yeah, generic. Language generic. That's just gonna keep as it is. So we're just gonna rename this one here. I have no idea why it had that other name. The good old days, I guess. Alright, so the event data, the only thing it needs to contain is a list over the conditioned. No, that's the beauty of using old code, but sometimes you will find small errors because this is not condition, this is modifier. String events, so we need to rename this part here. Oh, no. Modifier, let's just call it string events. String events, string, you know what, let's just call it what it is and add a S under it. There we go. And let's just, yep. So I'm probably gonna get some trouble in my old code over here, so let's just go and rename it that and hope it doesn't break anything. Alright, so this is all that event data is going to keep. Okie dokie. So we have the start event. Did we make the end? I'm pretty sure we did make the end. Yes, we did. The dialog one we gonna jump beautiful over for now. Let's look at the branch quickly. Yeah, the branch is pretty simple, so let's just copy that one over. The branch contains. Oh, let's actually just copy everything. There we go. Alright, so the branch is pretty simple. It's serializable, it inherits, and then it has the true and false good nodes. I think we already went over this, and if not, I can't remember. Why is this also named something ridiculous? We also going in here and going. Please no. This is what. Oh no 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 no. All right, so we also rename this. So this also just contains a bunch of. Wait, those are string. Those are actually the right ones. My bad. Let's save this and go over here and fix my error because those are actually conditions. So they contain a bunch of conditions. So if the condition is all true, well, then it's going to go to this node, and if they're false, they're going to this node. So that's pretty much all we need to say for this one. So let's go in here. Let me just quickly look at my notes for the choice node. I don't know if we should do this yet because there's a ridiculous amount of stuff. You know what? Let's just do it. We'll probably get back to it later on, but for now, we're just gonna plug it in. So, what is going on here? Oh, we also need this in the top. Here we go. We actually don't need that one, so let's just remove that. Why are they 2 times? That's stupid. Wait, are they different? Oh, one is the engine and one is the editor. Well, the more you know. Alright, so it inherits, and then we are using this beautiful line again, so because they need a reference to, they don't need to, it's just easier this way. So we have this one for the audio and this one for the text. So it just makes it easier. And then we of course have the, what was this again? Ah, yeah, the hide and grayed out. So this one is the one that that knows if it's supposed to hide them or show them if the condition is not met. And we of course have the text that is a language generic string. Next up we have the audio, what is a language generic audio clip. And lastly we have the conditions. And let's just rename them, as we have renamed everything else. Just to keep the same naming convention, because I think that is gonna be a good thing to do. Again, you don't need to remember or understand this right now, because we're just making the safe data. So later on we are going to get back to this, so don't worry. Let's make the last one, which is the dialogue one, and this is probably the worst of them, because there's a lot of stuff in that one. So let me just copy everything over. We also need that in the top. Let me just plickety-pluckety. And let's go through everything. Alright. So let's just start up here. It's serializable. Everything on here is serializable. It inherits from the base node again. So the first one here we have here is the dialog database container. And it has the list over all of them. What that is, it's pretty much, it contains an ID, because we want the dialogues to be in a specific order. Let me just quickly drag this one over here so you can see. So right here, all those here have an ID, so they know which number they should be spawned into. So when I click load, I can give you an example over here. Those over here don't have the ID, so they are just going to be spawned in with the type they are. So when I click load, you can see all the dialog containers are the scriptable objects gets in the top and the other ones get in the bottom. Where over here, if I add text, image, and name, and click save and load, you can see they did not they spawned in as the order that they're supposed to. So if you click load again, you can see they spawn in the in the way that I clicked them in. I just forgot the English word for it, sorry. So that's the point of the ID. So all of those here are going to inherit from the ID. So next up we have a condition. So we have the naming one. So again, I'm gonna drag this over here so just to see that is the name, this is the image, and this is the text. Let me drag it over there again. So it just needs to contain the name. So it just has the name in it. Next up we have the text. The text will have a reference to the text field and the audio field, and then we will have a gun ID. This one is used for when we want to save it out into the what's it called? the SVS files onto the net into the so we can change the language. I just completely lost the English word for it, so I'm really sorry about that. But this one is the ID we use to figure out which text element it is, so we can load the text out and load the text back in the right places. And this, of course, is where we contain the text, and this is where we contain the audio. Next up, we have the images. So they pretty much just contain a sprite, an image, the left and the right. And lastly, we have a dialog port. So it has the name of the port and the output and the input. And those here are pop 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 pop. Let's me just go up. Those are those right here. So they know they have an invisible name that is the port gun, which is pretty much just a unique gun, so we always can find which one it is. And then it will know where it is connected to and where it's supposed to be. That way we can make sure that it is connected the right place and to the right thing. So number one is always number one, and number two is always number two. That way around. Hope that makes a little sense. And here in the beginning you can see we just contains a list of everything. And the base node here is pretty much just it contains all of the difference of the names, text, and images because they all inherit from the base container. That way we can just call this one and we will get all of those here. And it's because when you're saving it in scriptable objects, you need to save it as the type it is. You can't just save it as the inherited one, because then it will only save the inherited data. So when you're saving a scriptable object, you need to save it as the data it is. That is why we have a list of each of them. Alright, so that was a big mouthful of oof data stuff. That now means we should have all the data dialog stuff we need. Let's just make sure that we saved. Let me have a look. Beautiful. Alright, so yay, we should have all the dialog data we need now. And we should have all the enums we need. Goody. Let me just quickly look at this one here. Check if that is the same. It is. What about this one? It is. And what about this one? Oh, yep. We need the last one. So, and this is the dialog container. As you can see, something is missing. We probably need to go... No. We can do that now. Alright, so can I just do this and it will not be angry? Let's have a look. Well, that was a no. Well, first up we need our old goody node link data. And that is as it should be. And that is fine. Oh yeah, that's because we are no longer naming them node. Because I didn't see the reason to add the node in. So I just removed it. That is pretty much the entire thing, I think. This is a lot of deleting, isn't it? I just found it that it was a lot of unnecessary extra stuff to add all the node stuff in, so I removed it because it's pretty much just the data. So why not just call it data? That is my entire reasoning. So let's see, this should be it now. And let me just have a look up here. You know what? Let's just copy paste it so we are sure. Yeah, the only thing that actually changed was the fact. That is completely named wrong again. Why did I do this? I should be ashamed of myself. Da, 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 da. Why is there underscore on some of them? That's always the beautiful thing about looking at some of the older code. What? Why is there notes on there? There we go. And this is just named all note where I know all data. Let's do that. Da, 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 da. Yes. Yes, yeah, this should be fine for now. And I think we're gonna end the video here because now we have made all the data stuff here. Alrighty. And if you don't want to do and if you just want to do the copy pasting thing, I should upload a new GitHub that's just called prototype finish, yeah, prototyping or something like that in the GitHub. And you can just go in and copy paste the code if you are too lazy to actually follow along. But I would recommend following along, as generally just typing it in and trying to understand it at the same time is one of the better ways of learning, I think. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Alright, so thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.